Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our tech talk. Hope everyone is having a good day so far. Can everyone hear me clearly? Better if someone can respond so we can confirm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. All right. So actually, we are hoping to have an engaging conversation with you, and we're anticipating your active participation so we can have a better understanding about your point of view. Yeah. Because after the seminar, we will select the best candidates from today session for a 2 or 3 day detailed Palo Alto seminar as mentioned in the flag. All right, so this is a joint effort by Palo Alto, CONNEX, and LAB4ICT. My name is Rajan Lianage, and I'm the head of programs at LAB4ICT. This session is conducted by myself and my colleagues Clarence and Mohan Raj from CONNEX. We are talented IT professionals and have been in the IT industry for years with a lot of expertise in the field. All right, so what is LAB4ICT? Let me give you a bit of an introduction about our institute so you can have a better understanding of what we do and what our values are. We are primarily an educational institute focused mainly on bridging the gap between the required skills and the current skill level of IT professionals in the industry, for people who are hoping to start a career in IT but doesn't have the required skills or the confidence. Our mode of teaching focus more on the practical aspects of a career, meaning we hope to teach what traditional courses or traditional institutes couldn't or didn't teach, to make sure students and professionals perform better in their job roles, to understand or get a clearer picture of job roles and career paths. So our programs are focused on upskilling current employees or prospective employees to meet the current industry standards, so they could face challenges in their careers smoothly, helping both employees as well as companies on time and resources. We also do provide hands-on training and mentoring for special products so that users and organizations can utilize the maximum out of the software or hardware. We often partner with companies for fixing the resource availability issues, and as a result of producing highly employable professionals from our institute, we keep a former student database so that when companies are looking for prospective employees, we are able to provide them with high quality leads, making the talent scouting process a breeze for companies and our students to be able to find their dream job or start their career in IT at a much faster pace. As I mentioned earlier, our courses are focusing mainly on the practical aspects in the IT industry, and our courses are delivered by experienced, seasoned industry experts who have been in the industry for decades. And together we have designed these courses to share their industry experience and expertise so that you can get a head start in your career and a more experienced employee. We often partner with a lot of companies in the IT sector, which gives us the ability to find the best training partners for our courses, so we could provide you with the best of the best. So we have a couple of pricing packages we offer. According to depending on students' skill, they could be hired by a company and the organization will pay for their training. And if students are lacking the skills or they want to upskill privately, of course, they can take up courses privately by funding it themselves, by directly signing up with us for a course. And also, we periodically hold free sessions such as this one to educate students and employees to generate awareness about products so that people can get a clear understanding about the topic and can pursue their interests with a much clearer goal. So these are some of the courses we offer currently through our institute: business analysis, software quality assurance, computer technician courses, network courses, L1, L2, and L3, all-rounder course, software developer course, network security course, and endpoint security courses are some of the courses we offer as of now. But we will have more courses available soon, so do check with us to see what's new. If you are interested in taking up one of these courses and to find more information about courses, you can always find our contact information to get in touch with us on our website, lab4ICTSL.com, or follow our Facebook page with the same name. All right. So for the next part of the seminar, I would like to invite Clarence to take over. Clarence.
Thank you, Ranjan. So let me just quickly share my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay. So thank you everyone for giving us this time today, to have this chat with you and give you an introduction to our portfolio. So I'm going to just take you through who we are, CONNEX IT, and what we do. So we are actually a value-added distributor, right? We have been in the industry for 8+ years. We have over 15 million USD annual turnover. We've delivered over 5,000 projects, and these are enterprise level projects where we have worked with ISPs, banks, technology leaders, and delivered projects for them. We have over 160 employees, out of which 60% are technical staff, because that's where we bring the value add to the market in as CONNEX IT. We work with 60+ global vendors. These are products from all over the world of varying size. We have over 15+ world #1 products that have been recognized by institutes such as Gartner, Forrester, so forth. And we have over 11 international operations around the world. So as part of our professional services, we provide to our partners and our customers, we do design and consultancy. So we sit with the partner or the customer, we help them design a plan for their solutions, how they're going to take it forward, and create those documentations and everything for them. We do demonstration proof of value. So we do POCs basically, where we showcase the product in the custom environment itself, show them how it works, what benefits they can get from it. And then end of the day, if the customer chooses the product, we even help the partners with the implementation of the product, as in putting it into the custom environment, running it, all that. And we also additionally do training and documentation for our partners and customers as well. So whatever products we have certified engineers who will conduct those trainings for our partners. And as far as business pillars are concerned, we handle several different products, in cybersecurity, governance and compliance, security management, perimeter and internal security, data center infrastructure and infrastructure monitoring, authentication and identity management, endpoint security, enterprise networking, server storage and backup solutions. So we have products aligned with each of these business pillars that we carry. And just to give you an idea, so if you look at our portfolio, for the perimeter and internal security, we have products such as Palo Alto, A10, Array Networks, Calvio. When it comes to networking, we have products such as Extreme Networks, Netgear, Ransnet, and security management, we have Firewall, Skybox. Endpoint security, we have leading products such as 10 Micro, Sentinel-1, Automox, Ekran. For cybersecurity compliance and governance, things like SIEMs, we have Logarithm, Darktrace, SOC Radar, Netscope. And then data center infrastructure and infrastructure monitoring, we have world-leading products like Datweiler, Biotech, Woodland. And for server and storage backup solutions, we are a distributor for Lenovo, QSAN, Oland Tandberg, Acronis. And finally, authentication and identity management, we have world-leading products like OneLogin, Delinea, OneSpan, Invigate. So we have all these products in our portfolio. We have certified engineers for all these products. And as part of our mission, we try to educate customers. One of the reasons why we are taking part in this session also is to help you understand what the landscape is like, what sort of things we are looking for in professionals in our field. So I'll now hand this over to Raj, who will take you through the rest of the presentation for Palo Alto. And I hope you have a very good session. So Raj, over to you.
Hi, thank you, Raj. Thank you, Raj. Thank you. Yeah, Clarence, can you stop sharing?
Sorry. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, can you see my screen? And are you audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, can hear you.
Yeah.
Can see your screen.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So, good evening, everyone. So, I hope you have good cup of tea and ready for the session, right? So, first of all, before starting the session, I would like to ask, do you have any understanding or idea about networking and kind of background about networking or network security? So, my question is, like, do you have heard of firewall and what's a firewall like? Do you have any idea about it? Yeah. Yeah.
Raj, there seems to be something on the screen. I think it's the.
Give me one second. Give me one second.
I think it's a small Teams box. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I got it. So, right. We'll keep it like this, and we'll start the session. Yeah. All right. So we'll start the session. Before I start the session, I would like to, ask a question. Do you all have any idea about firewall? So if you can't speak, you can even type the answer in the chat box.
Yep, I have.
Right. I think that all of you are freshers, and I'm going to take from the very beginning. So this is going to be a deep dive session, which is going to be start from the very beginning, like introduction to firewall. Okay. So the first thing is what's a network attack? So how attackers launch attack to network? So first of all, I would like to come up with an example. So if you are building a house, right? Let's assume that you are having a house, and you're having a nice garden and all. You have some stuffs in the garden, right? So you don't have any security person, or you don't have even a gate to your house. So if that's the case, anyone can come to your place, and anyone can steal something, anyone can get into the house and steal something from your house, right? Which is very vulnerable, right? So same thing to network security as well. So if this is your host, right? Let's assume this is a website, and some other resources are also there in your network, right? So it's not protected. Um, and if this device is not protected, all the attackers can launch attack against this machine, which is lying over there. So attacker can launch attack using multiple machines, which is known as DDoS attack, and it can they can flood your network, and you know they can compromise your network, or they can compromise your availability of the network. So these are some attack types, like and virus attack, malware attack, phishing attack. I'm not going to dive deep into everyone, but these are some attack types that the hackers use to get into your network. These are the some some famous network attacks. And also, so in order to protect this, so how can we protect this? Sim Yeah. So in order to protect this, we can have a safety mechanism. So if you want to protect your out, right, you can implement something like a wall around your house first, and afterwards you can implement a gate, some strong gate, something like that. Similarly, when it comes to the network, you can implement a firewall, right? You can implement a firewall right over here, right? Once you implement the firewall, so these attacks and attack surface will be minimized, and this our resource will be protected from the attacks. So this is the very basic introduction to firewall. Let's move on. So this is going to be should be a very interactive session. So if you have any doubts, please ask. All right. So what the attacker gains once he launched the attack, right? So it's depends on the attacker. Sometimes he might attack for funny facts. Sometimes the attacker might launch attack for to damage the reputation of the company, or to steal some data, or for ransom purpose. So he might attack to your very personal information, and he will ask for some ransom money in order to release those information. So likewise, there are many motives for the attackers to launch attacks. All right. Okay. So how to protect from this? So in order to protect from this, we can implement network security devices like firewalls, endpoint security, email, and etc. Some more security devices are there. So these are the basic level security devices that can implemented in your network to protect your network. Right. So we'll come to this. What's a firewall? Right. So as I said, firewall is a device, network device. So right, for example, let's assume you are having a couple of machines or in your network, like one, two, three, yeah, a couple of machines, and all the machines are connected to uh, switch, and a router is there, right, in order to serve internet. So if this is the basic setup, so as we saw in the previous slide, the attacker might launch attack against this. In order to protect this one, we can implement a firewall. So somewhere else here, firewall, right? So once you implement a firewall, this network will be protected, right? So when someone asks like what's firewall, so firewall is a basic network and security device which monitors the network and allow the traffic, allows and deny the traffic. So uh, if this person initiate a traffic to internet, so let's assume that he's going for facebook.com, right? Facebook.com is somewhere else in the cloud. So if he initiate the sessions comes via the firewall and goes to Facebook, right? So each and every sessions that initiated from the client will be recorded by the firewall. Is going to maintain all the reports and all. So the network administrator sitting on the firewall can have the full visibility of the network. So once he have the full visibility of the network, uh, he can control the traffic by implementing security policy rules to allow specific application, like allow or deny some specific applications, like so. For example, let's say for this person, in order to work day by day, he need only Gmail. No, let's say Outlook. Yeah, Outlook. So he can implement a rule for this person. Person A need to access only Outlook. All other applications should be denied likewise. So once this person initiate the traffic towards the Outlook, the traffic will be successful. And if that person again start a session to the Facebook, then traffic will be denied. So like the firewall is a basic network security device which monitors the network and allows or denies the traffic accordingly. So do you have any questions from these two slides?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I want to know, is it the physical firewall that we talk about, physical firewall, or that virtual firewall?
Yeah, good question. It can be either physical firewall or virtual firewall. Virtual firewall, in sense, there are types of virtual firewalls that can be implemented. Like, for example, we can implement a firewall. We can install a software in the machine, like firewall software, right? This is not talking out in the market, right? So these are very basic level firewall. We can neglect this firewall, and we can implement a physical firewall in the network, which what I am talking about, and also we can implement a virtual firewall in the network. Like we can get a server, and we can install these famous vendors like Palo Alto, and the firewall vendors provide their VM models as well. So we can install this VM model in a server, and we can install this firewall over here. So we can either work on hardware firewall or virtual firewall, but very recommended thing is the hardware firewall, because the hardware is made by vendor, and you know if something happens, the vendor is responsible for that. And when comes to the architecture, so they are building their architecture uh, align with it should align and work with the firewall, so work with the software that they're making. So it's better if you are installing a hardware firewall over here. So mostly in the market, all of them are installing hardware firewall. So hereafter we are talking about the hardware firewall.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. So I think no other questions, and we'll go ahead. Right. So so where this name firewall came from? Like So it's actually came from like building structure. So when they are building, when they are making a large building, so they are making a wall like this, right? So this wall, sorry, what?
no, now only your slide change.
Okay, okay. Okay, so in when they are building the making the building, they will make a wall like this, right? Let's assume that they are making a big building, right? So uh, let's assume that 600 people can be accommodated to this building. So what they are going to do is they are going to build a wall which is capable of fire resistance. So if something happened to one side, let's assume 300 people are there, 300 people are there, right? So this side is having some fire, right? So they don't want to focus to this side people for a couple of hours, so they can rescue these people who are here, and they can do what they needful, and these people can you know uh, survive, and they can move something they can do. So this is the place where they took the word firewall, right? So in the network world also, when you implement a firewall in the network, so it will analyze all the traffic, and it will deny the traffic, it will block the traffic which is comes from the malicious users, and it will allow only the traffic which is non-malicious, or which can be permitted to the network. So in order to keep your server functional, so better to install the firewall and protect your network. So this is the we are talking about network firewall, right? So we are talking about firewall. Where do we place the firewall, right? So there should be a place in order to place the firewall, right?
Sorry, you're
So
on
by
mute.
default, sorry, hello, any questions?
Can't hear.
I audible? Am I audible now? Hello.
We can hear you, Raj.
Oh, okay, okay. So I hope all of you can hear me, right? Okay. So we are talking much and much about the firewall. So where we can place the firewall, right? End of the day, in order to protect our network. So let's assume we are having a network like it's a switch, and we are having some machines over here, so switch, some machines over here, some machines over here as well, right? And this is the router which is serving the internet, right? uh, and so if someone places firewall here, right, it's not going to be a perfect fit for the network, right? So better point is between the internet and internal network. So because it want to protect the attacks which is coming from outside and inside as well. So it's better to install a firewall between the external network and internal network. By default we are installing the firewall between the external network and internal network in order to uh, give access to the users who are working internally, and deny the attacks which is coming from internal and external as well. Okay. Any questions? Yeah, I do understand. You might ask a question like, is this the only way to install the firewall? No, right? You can install the firewall internally as well. So that's what we are going to discuss in the next slide. Here, you can implement, let's assume that this is somewhat internet. right? Let's assume this is also internet, and we can, let's assume this is internet server, and we can install a firewall here, right? Firewall. And afterwards, in order to protect your internal resources separately, you can implement a firewall over here, 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 and here. All these are depends on your requirement, right? So you can implement the perimeter firewall. Perimeter firewall is between the internal and external network. We can install internal firewall as well, along with perimeter firewall, right? So a perimeter firewall is going to protect your network, the traffic which is passing from the perimeter level, and afterwards you can install some firewalls internally as well, right? So just understand the concept that the firewall is not only installed in the perimeter, but by default, most of the networks contains a firewall in the perimeter, and also there are huge networks, like there are many uh, many workloads, servers, and many resources in the network. So those resources can be protected by individual internal firewall as well. Okay, so better, if the network is huge, so better to install perimeter firewall, afterwards the internal firewalls. Okay, so any questions up to this? Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, the sub firewalls should be a hardware device, so virtually can be installed from the main firewall.
Yes, it again, it depends on the customer requirement. If you are, if you're comparing your prices and all, it's better to install a hardware firewall, because you want to purchase the software, you want to purchase the server, right? So you want to purchase the support for the server, support for the software, right? So these are going to be headache for you, because if something happen uh, to server, you need to contact a different vendor. If something happen to in the software, you need to different contact to a different vendor. So in our near past, we proposed two solutions, like hardware firewall and software firewall. Customer came up like with the calculation of the cost, and they decided to go with the hardware firewall, because it is much cheaper than software firewall, when we consider along with the server and the other components. Okay, so if the customer likes to go with the software firewall, it's purely depends on the requirement. They can go with software firewall, but most recommended is to install a hardware firewall in internal network. So have I answered the question? And hello.
Yeah, if you have 50,000 users in a company,
Mhm.
we can have we can't have one firewall for that company, right? Because some of the firewall is have the capacity to cover some of the hosts. So
Mhm.
in this situation, we
Mhm.
need more firewalls. But let's say 9,000 users are there, then we can have separate policies for separate departments. So
Mhm.
in this situation, there should be a virtual separation in that firewall, right?
Yes, correct. Will I'll come up your example. So there are firewall which are capable of handle your 50,000, 100,000, or more than that kind of users. So there are firewalls which are capable of handling that much of user capacity. So it depends on the requirement. So when it comes to my last slides, I'm showing you some series of firewall. Those series of firewall depends on the your requirement, right? So and also you know, you are having a perimeter level over here, right? This perimeter firewall should have the capability to handle all these users, right? And if you have internal firewall, let's say you are having a server farm, right? For the server farm, you are having an internal firewall. Server farm, so you are having internal firewall. You are having like 9,000 servers you can handle, right? So this server farm again is going to connect it to the main firewall, which is perimeter firewall, right? So here only it's going out to the internet, right? So in this case, this firewall is going to have two different level of security, which is from one internal firewall and another one is from the external firewall, right? And let's assume you are having network segment, another network segment, and you are having some resources of like 20K users. You can even implement another firewall over here, and let's assume this is 30,000. Sorry, yeah. Let's assume this is the 30,000, right? So you can implement a firewall here. Even if you require, you can even install another firewall here, some resources of 20K is accessing here, some resource of 10K is there. So this firewall should be handle the user capacity of 30,000. This firewall can be handle the user capacity of 10,000. So it purely depends on your requirement. So the perimeter firewall should have the capacity to handle this much of user capacity, which is 50,000. So here, so once you install like this, you are having several layers of security. So the traffic, when an attacker attacks your networks, he needs to bypass this firewall, he need to bypass this firewall, and you need to bypass this firewall and come to your network. So it's going to be very difficult task for an attacker. If you have implement the file, if you have configure the firewall correctly. Okay. So any other question? Hello. Right. I hope I have answered your questions. So yeah, if you have any other questions, please let me know. All right. So yeah, I think it's good to go. So let's go ahead. So Clarence, over to you.
Yeah. I think it's time we ask them some questions, no?
Yeah, sure.
So the guys, this is supposed to be a bit of an interactive session. So I'm going to ask these questions from you. Whoever wants to can, give a reply, and, we'll take you through it. So, what is a firewall?
Second one, a device or software that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing traffic.
Okay.
Any other answers?
Anyone?
Other than this?
Anyone?
Hello? Hello.
If you have your own inputs, just feel free. I mean, there is one answer from this, that you have to choose. And what you said was, I think it was Rasa who gave the answer, right?
Yes.
Your answer was correct.
And you can even type the answers in chat as well.
Yeah. If you can't, right? If you don't want to speak up, just put the answers into the chat. We want this to be a bit of an interactive session, so please, feel free to speak up.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah.
Firewall is some kind of wall between client and internet server provider that some kind of barrier that keep security between the attackers and some traffic. I don't know how to tell that.
No, you are right. You are right.
Right.
Your explanation was good. So yes, it is a gateway, in between the internal and external, and you can filter your traffic accordingly. Good answer.
Yes.
Thank you, Abhishek. There were more questions, right, Raj? Can we?
Yeah. We'll go ahead.
Okay. So what is the primary purpose of a firewall?
To filter and control network traffic to enhance security.
Okay. Correct. Yes, sir. And if you guys have any idea on what are the other things you can do with the firewall, just feel free to talk up. Yeah. That is the correct answer, by the way. Raj, shall we go to the next question? Nice. Thank you, Vidushan. Traffic. Yes, correct. Okay, so what are the two main types of firewalls?
Physical and virtual.
Correct.
Well done, Abhishek.
Any other answers?
If you guys have any questions or anything, just feel free to ask. I think those were the questions, right? So I'll hand the session back over to Raj. There'll be other questions coming up, so be ready. Be ready to talk as well. We want to hear your voices. So thank you. Over to you, Raj. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Clarence. So, advantages of having a firewall, right? So, what are the advantages of having a firewall? For example, so if you install a firewall, your network can be protected from external threats, right? If any external threats are coming into your network, you can protect using the firewall, right? And not only the external threats, some internal threats also can be in your network, right? So for example, let's say this is your production server, this is your IT department, sales department. So these departments might access your uh, production, right, through your firewall, right? So once the traffic comes to the firewall will inspect the traffic. If the traffic contains any malicious any attacks or malicious things, it will drop the traffic. And if if the machines which are allowed to access only can be accessed to your production. So these machines can be accessed. This machine can be accessed if the machine is, the attacker is using some machine to attack your servers. It can even block. You might ask how an internal machine can be, internal machine can be affected, right? For example, if someone get a pen drive and plug into your machine, right? Firewall is going to protect at the core level, right? Once you plug your network in, your USB into a network, that thing is not going to be prevented by the firewall USB plugin, right? So a malware can be installed into a machine, and some command and control session might be given to the this hacker. right? You might control your machine in order to attack the network. So this kind of example is there to there, right? You know, threats are existing not only externally but also internally as well. Okay, so in order to protect your machines from those kind of attacks, you know, you can install an endpoint security solution, right? So once you install endpoint security solutions, if you plug a pen drive with a malware, then it will be detected and it will be the malware will be prevented like this, right? So Palo Alto is having their own endpoint security solution, which is called Cortex XDR. This is the one of the leading product. So, you know, with Cortex XDR endpoint security solution, you can even, you know, prevent attacks uh, like internal attacks. Right. We'll talk about the capabilities of the firewall. What are the capabilities of the firewall, right? So the firewall is capable of handling the traffic. Like, so it will inspect the traffic. Um, let's say this is the firewall. Before that, we'll start with an example, right? Okay, right. So this is safety. Yeah, this is a security gate over here, right? You know, this security person standing over here will, you know, ask some questions when a person comes in. He will inspect the person. He will check his bag. He will, you know, he will ask some questions. Do you have permission to access to the premises, or do we have passed something kind of you know, questions will be asked. Take an example of airport, right? So if you are going to airport, so not going they are not going to allow each and every passenger sorry, each and every person to, you know, go to the go internal to the airport. So only the persons who have purchased the you know, air tickets are given the permission to you know, enter to the flight. So will be several security checks in the airport. You know, afterwards only they will allow you to go. So similarly, a firewall, inspect the traffic. You know, for example, we'll say here you are installing a firewall, right? After installing a firewall over here, then if a traffic's, you know, initiate from a machine, uh, for example, we'll write a rule, right? Person A, you know, want to access Outlook, and person A, if accessing any other applications other than this, you should be denied, right? So there are mechanisms to implement rules, right? You know, most recommended version way of implementing rule is to whitelist. Whitelist in the sense, allow whatever the application or whatever the you know, ports or protocols that you want to access, deny everything else, right? So someone may write a rule like this way, you know, block Facebook, block YouTube, block Yahoo, and allow any, right? If someone implement a rule like this way, right? So Facebook obviously will be blocked. Yahoo will, you know, YouTube will be blocked. Yahoo will be blocked, right? Any other traffic will be allowed, right? So, you know, this is not very recommended way. For example, let's take Instagram. Traffic will be allowed, right? So you know, other you know, torrent application will be allowed, right? So this is very vulnerable rule. So the only correct way, like, is to allow whatever you want to allow and deny everything, right? So if you have implement a rule like this, person A want to access Outlook, then when this person A trying to access Outlook, the traffic will be allowed. When this person try to access, Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, or anything else, the traffic will be denied. Right? So the firewalls have capability to understand the user, identify the user, identify the port protocol application. Like it has more capabilities to filter the traffic. So, do you have any questions from this slide? So, if you don't have, so I'll move to the next slide. Right. So, it can do stateful inspection. Right. So, if for example, we'll take a person comes to the office, or comes to the office, he's giving some forgery documents, and he's allowed to go to a room in your office, right? Right, these people over here we are watching that is that person is going to the correct room, but if this person is going to a wrong room, these security guys will be you know um, will not allow him for to further process. So once these persons like give permission to anyone, so they don't let that person to freely move. They will monitor each and everything. Like similarly, if you have, like for example, let's say you have initiated traffic to Google, right? Let's say this is firewall, uh, this is Google. You have initiated the traffic to Google, right? So the session should contain two things. One thing is request, and the other thing is reply, right? So once the reply comes from Google, so if the firewall is having stateful inspection, it will keep the session, right? So session. So if the reply comes, it will look at the session and send the reply to correct person. Then here, uh, firewall won't have any additional overhead. So maintaining stateful inspection or maintaining session, it's a capability of firewall. So another capability is to understand the application. Like we have implemented a role in Palo Alto Firewall. This is a Palo Alto Firewall role, right? So if you go over here, you can see ICMP is allowed for this, for this zone, right? Untrust to destination. The ICMP ping is allowed, trace route is allowed. All the other traffic is blocked. Right? If any person try to access, let's say they are trying to access telnet or SSH, what will happen to the traffic? That firewall will see, right? This is there is a rule to untrust to DMZ and these things, but ICMP is allowed, ICMP ping is allowed, but not telnet and SSH. It will go ahead and try to match next rule. If this rule also does not match, it will go ahead and try to match next rule. Next rule is deny any, then the traffic will be denied, right? So application awareness of a firewall is a very important feature, and it's a luxury feature in order to in order to allow your application and deny your application accordingly, right? So firewall is having capabilities of proxy, right? Like before that, you want to understand why this proxy, why do the firewall want to do the proxy, right? So earlier, everybody used HTTP sites, right? So this HTTP site, if a client initiate the traffic towards a web server. This is HTTP. So when the traffic flows like this, it can be inspected by the firewall since it is HTTP, right? So nowadays, about 90% of the traffic, or in my experience, 95% of the traffic are HTTPS, right? If the traffic is initiated from the client, it's going to be encrypted and sent towards this, and it will be decrypted over here, unlocked, decrypt over here. So here, the firewall does not have full visibility. It has visibility up to a certain extent, but not full visibility. In order to have full visibility, we have to have, proxy feature, right? Once we enable proxy feature, this once the client initiate the traffic will be entered in the firewall. Then firewall will initiate the traffic to the server. Is you know uh, firewall instead of this client. When the replies comes from the server will reply to the firewall. Firewall will look at the session table and reply to this client. So firewall now acting as a man in the middle. Now the firewall can see what are the traffic flowing inside of HTTPS. The firewall is working as proxy. Any questions up to this? Hello. Any questions? All right. I think things are good. So we'll move ahead. So firewall is having IDS capabilities. So early in the early networks, IDS is a separate device. It's separate, installed separately. If anyone try to access try to access the internet, or if send traffic via this one, the switch sits over here. It will span the traffic, and a copy of the traffic will be sent to IDS for the inspection. What IDS do is IDS will analyze and tell us whether there is any threats or something is going on. It's not going to block any threats. It's just going to monitor and tell us there are some threats going on. That's it. That's the purpose of IDS. So now it comes with the power along with the firewall as well. But for the huge networks, it's still a separate product. Um, dark trace dark trace is an example for this product. So IPS, so early networks, IDS had the capability to detect the threats only. Nowadays they have improved slight, and IPS came, intrusion prevention system. So once you detect the threat, it is having the capability to prevent the threat as well. Okay, so this IPS feature now comes handy along with the along with the firewall. So you don't need to purchase a separate device, but for the huge network, they're still they are using IPS as a separate device. But for a normal enterprise and mid-level and low-level network, so IPS feature comes along with the firewall. Right. Some other capabilities like give me 1 second, my slide didn't change. Okay, so some other capabilities like the firewall has the capability to have site-to-site VPN, right? You might ask, what is site-to-site VPN? Like, I'll give you answer, right? So if you have head office and a branch, right? So earlier you had only option is to go to ISP and purchase MPLS. Right, they will give you a private connection connecting UHQ and DR. But later on, this MPLS connection was very cost effective, very costly. Yeah, it's very costly. So they implement something called VPN. Right, what VPN do is it can it can have the encrypted tunnel over the internet. You don't want the MPLS connection. Instead of MPLS, you can have the IPsec VPN. So if you have a firewall over here, or IPsec enabled device over here, you can still enable IPsec via the public internet. Right, still your data is transmitted via public internet, but securely. Right, so there are mechanisms, secure mechanisms. So with this secure mechanism is going to be encrypt the data over here, and it can be decrypted over here. So this is IPsec VPN. So let's assume you are in the COVID situations, most of the people had a practice to work from home, right? So work from home, work from anywhere, work from cafe, work from bus, work from flight, or work from anywhere, like any place, right? So with that, the SSL VPN, SSL VPN came famous, but it was there for a long period of time. But in the COVID period, this SSL VPN was very famous, and it's a client that can be installed in your computer. Once you install in the computer, it will make an encrypted connection towards your organization, and still you can access your internal resources. If you have a server over here, if you have some servers over here, if you can access your internal resources securely using this SSL VPN publicly. So do you have any questions up to this? Hello, I'm audible, right? Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear you, Raj.
yeah, right. So I think it's good to go. So firewall also has the capability to authenticate. For example, let's say you are having. I'll draw the example over here, right? Okay. So let's example we are having a firewall, right? So in the network there's a switch. There are two or three clients called A, B, and C. Okay. So these clients, one of these client is downloading some torrent, some clips in torrents. So here data utilization is very high. So the head is asking who has access this torrent and downloaded something, right? The only way that we can identify this is with the IP address of this client, IP address of this clients. But if DHCP is used, or if the client is having the capability of changing the IP address, still we cannot find out who the exact user is. So that's why we are having authentication mechanism, right? We can use either radius, or we can use active directory, or any other authentication mechanism to authenticate user. Once we authenticate user, this user is not going to be identified only with the IP address, but also this user is going to be identified with his username, right? We'll say user Tom, right? So if IP change multiple times, but this name is not going to be changed, so we can identify the user. That's why we are having the authentication. So we can have authentication to identify the user, and we can track what the user have done. Moving a step ahead, we can install multi-factor authentication. So let's say this user credential has been leaked out, right? So for example, you have Facebook, your Facebook credentials were stolen by someone, right? Then if you have installed the multi-factor authentication, then uh, once the user entered username and password, it will ask for another code which is comes to your phone or some multi-factor thing, and once you enter this thing only, it will allow. So this is the second level of barrier for the authentication. So still we can do with Okta, Microsoft Authenticator, Google Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator. So most of the two-factor authentications are there. So like one login and one span. So most of the two-factor authentication they are in order to have you second level of authentication for your corporate credentials and all. Right. So firewall is having the capabilities of etching, right? So if you for example, I'll take this. Yeah. For example, you are having a network, right? This is a let's assume this is a firewall, and there's a client. There are several clients sitting in the network. If this firewall goes down, something happened to the power or hardware or something failed, then whole network down. None of this user can access any resources, right? So we can implement active passive scenario or active or active passive scenario. If one firewall active firewall goes down, all the sessions will be go via the passive firewall to internet. So we can replace the firewall. Afterwards, we can make this firewall as active. Then still afterwards, this active firewall can send the traffic towards the internet. So in order to avoid the single point of failure, we implement two firewalls in high availability and redundancy scenario. All right. Any questions up to this firewall capabilities? Yeah, I hope all good. If you have any questions, do let me know or put in the chat. Yeah, there are many types of firewalls, but out of that, I have taken only a few because considering time, right? So we have stateful inspection firewall, stateful inspection firewall as we discussed previously. So stateful inspection is like it will keep the session. Once the reply comes in, it will look at the session and send traffic towards towards the destination. Like this. And afterwards we had a UTM firewall, right? UTM firewall had a you know like for example, let's say you are going to buy food, right? And you are going to a cafe, and if you're going to buy something clothes, you are going to um, shop, clothes shop, like fashion bagos somewhere else. So if you want to buy something, something, and you go to the shop, afterwards, um, these shops are all super separate, right? So nowadays, shopping mall concept came. Shopping mall concept came. In shopping mall, everything are included in the shopping mall, right? So you can purchase, if you want to eat something, you can go ahead and go to food court and you can have something. If you want to have purchase mobile phone, you can go to another floor and you can have the mobile phone. If you're going to buy clothes or shoes or anything, so everything are included here, included in the single umbrella. Similar to this, the capabilities like antivirus, content filtering, web filtering, antivirus, anti-spam, IDS, IPS, all these features comes in a pack that's called UTM firewall, right? Then afterwards, NGFW firewall, they develop this and implement it this firewall, and they developed this and implemented, NGFW firewall. So NGFW firewall has the capabilities to identify the application, identify users. It's having the IPS and DLP. It is having uh, threat intelligence, right? In order to block known and unknown threats. So these are the main types of firewalls. So nowadays, the NGFW firewalls are widely used in the industry. Another version of NGFW has came right now. Like, so it's having more artificial and machine learning capabilities, right? So they will give this link. You can have this link, and you can somebody will share this link in the chat. You can have this link, and you can see these capabilities in deep. Right. So hello, can someone share the link in the chat?
Done.
Okay. So here it's having illusion of the firewalls. So, so first, what firewall came, like, it was very basic firewall, and afterwards, yeah, very basic firewall, simple, and allow access and deny only there. Then UTM firewalls came. That's how I just now explained. So all the capabilities are coming up with this one UTM feature in firewall. Then the third generation NGFW firewall came, so that have the capabilities to understand the application awareness, the user awareness. Those capabilities are there. And finally, we have these proactive NGFW machine learning capabilities. So hackers have developed with machine learning capabilities. So the security cannot be like behind. It also should be developed. So that's why they have implemented proactive NGFW firewalls. So the Palo Alto is having, you know, Palo Alto is having that very concern about the technology, and they are researching and developing things day by day. Okay. So the link will be provided to you for your references. So that's there. All right. There are some questions. I think I have missed out question. Yeah, please give me 1 second.
Hello, Raj.
Yeah, good, good. I found it.
Okay.
Share screen. Can you see on my screen?
Yeah, I can see it. Right.
Right. Okay. So, link is shared, and over to you, Clarence, for questions
Okay.
session.
Thank you. So this will be the last round of questions. So, okay, I'll get directly into it. Firewalls are only used to block incoming network traffic. Is this true or false? Can see Manugi typing. You can also unmute yourself and speak up.
Not only filtering traffic, but threat protection uh, are there.
Great. Okay.
Yes, correct. So yes, like you said, there are a lot of other things, not only incoming traffic, but even outgoing. We can, monitor with the firewall. Raj, next question. Okay. So what is the term used to describe a security policy that allows all network traffic by default and only blocks traffic that is explicitly prohibited? No takers for this one? Hello? Come on, guys. Just make a guess. Sorry?
Default filter?
We got one answer.
Any
As
other
we-
answers? Yeah, any other answers?
I see Sarni is typing. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your names, by the way. I'm just reading it off the thing. So there was a answer in the chat as well, Raj. So Satsani default filter policy.
Default filter policy. Okay. Any other answers?
Wrong is just shoot for the sky. There's no, like, don't worry, we're not here to judge you or anything. Just to see,
Yeah, it's like default deny policy.
Yeah. Okay, someone's.
So next.
Yeah, go ahead, right. Okay. So what is NAT and how is it related to firewalls?
Any answers?
Yes.
Number 2.
Okay, someone said number 2. Rasa, was that you? Yeah. Okay. We got one answer, Raj.
Yeah, that's correct answer. Okay. Yeah. Any other answer other than this?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Just before I hand over we have another question.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it important to keep a firewall updated and configured correctly?
Again, number 2.
Correct.
Okay. Do we have another question? Okay.
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
intrusion detection and how can it complement a firewall security measures?
Two.
Okay.
Right.
Raj, before you continue, just a small message to the participants. If you can, please share your email addresses in the chat, because we will be sending certificates to the people who attended the session. So please share your emails in the chat. Thank you. Over to you, Raj.
Okay. Thank you much. So, up to this, we talk much about the firewalls, and we are going to focus to a different product. So this is going to not going that much of time consumption one. Like, so for example, if you have head office and branches, as in the picture, so many branches, still the option that you have is MPLS, right? So you need to have MPLS in order to protect your head office and branches, right? So in order to connect your head office and branches to access resources, right? Um, for this, we can have another solution called SASE, right? This is secure access service edge. This is a cloud-based firewall as a service. Firewall as a service. What we can do is we can create an IPsec connection, IPsec tunnel from from head office branches. We can have work from home people, hybrid work from and some some remote work users as well. So here everybody can be accessed, via this one. So this is the hot topic nowadays, which is going on, because this came very famous during the COVID situation, because in order to give hybrid workforce or mobile workforce, there were several security measures, and they had some latency issues as well. So in order to overcome all these things, they came up with SASE, right? Secure access service edge, which is a firewall as a service. So what you're going to do is you are going to have head office over here, and you are going to have a SASE solution which is sitting over here, right? And you are going to have IPsec tunnel created from all the branches and all, everybody. So you can eliminate the cost of MPLS, and also you can connect securely. You're having single firewall to manage the entire your entire branches. So you don't want to implement one firewall here, one firewall here, one firewall here, one firewall here. You don't want to do it. You can implement a single firewall instead of multiple firewalls, which is SASE, Secure Access Service Edge. Hot topics now, and what is going on. So here it can, based on the firewall rules, it can allow or deny applicate access to your public internet or your public cloud SaaS applications, your edge data center, or whatever the access that you are providing. Any questions regarding SASE? All right. Okay. Good to go. So Palo Alto firewalls, when it comes to Palo Alto firewalls, it's having a range of products. So this firewall is not even installed in Sri Lanka. There are around the world there are only few firewalls installed, because this having the capability of handling that much of user capacity. In Sri Lanka, we haven't even implemented this firewall. Right, we have implemented this firewall, which is a very basic firewall, and implement this one and this one, but never this one. So if we are having the ISPs as well, SLT, Mobitel, Hutch, everyone is using Palo Alto firewall as their perimeter firewall, but all the user capacities can be even handled with this firewall. This is the highest firewall that we have implemented as of now. So these fourth generation, firewalls, series of firewalls. 400 series of firewall is this very basic level of firewall. So you can this is targeting mid-level, small and medium business of branches, business of businesses, small and medium businesses, and this is targeting large business, and for the data centers, these two firewalls are targeted, and for the huge data centers, this firewall is given. Right. We talk about firewalls, right? Palo Alto is a leader in the firewall. How Palo Alto, achieve all these things? These are the four, pillars that Palo Alto handles, right? So it provides full visibility to the administrator. So who the users, what are they doing, what are the applications they are accessing, and what are the malicious things happening in every it is providing a complete visibility to the administrator. Based on this visibility, is reducing the attack surface. He's implementing rules. He's creating zones. If you have implement a firewall, there is a server zone, and there is a DMZ zone. DMZ zone. You might ask most about the DMZ zone. DMZ is a separate zone, which can be accessed by publicly, which can be accessed publicly. It is even accessed by LAN users, private users also can access these resources, but these are separated, right? LAN and public are separated. So this is going to be complete special zone which is sitting in our LAN where public internet users also can access. So that is demilitarized zone, DMZ zone. Okay, so if someone is accessing from LAN zone to server zone, you can implement rules. You can do the inspection. When you consider about Palo Alto firewall, it is not going to inspect the traffic which is coming from LAN and going towards the WAN, but also it's going to inspect the traffic. It's going to see antivirus, anti-malware, anti-spyware, vulnerability protection, and everything. It's going to inspect if a traffic start from LAN and go even to the server zone, right? So that's their capability, and also it's having it can protect known threats using signatures, like if some threats are detected, and signatures some matching thing made to identify that threat, and signatures will be given to each and every firewall. So let's assume if an attack happened in somewhere else in Mongolia, and that signature will be imposed to the Palo Alto cloud, and they will send to entire world who is using Palo Alto. So the signatures will become, and if someone is using that signature, it will be blocked, and that is known attack. When you consider about unknown attack, Palo Alto is having a very good capability to prevent unknown attacks. So it's using a wildfire, like sandboxing mechanism to analyze the behavior of the behavior of the malicious files, or behavior of the files, and give you a verdict. So Palo Alto can prevent known and unknown attack as well. Unknown, 0-day malwares, 0-day latest created viruses as well. Okay, so this is so how the Palo Alto firewall do everything, uh, and also it does not slow down the process as well. So it's using their architecture, right? So it's single pass parallel processing architecture. So once the traffic comes in, it will inspect user ID, app ID, content ID, and everything, and it will encapsulate the traffic again. It will send the traffic. So where do other vendors, like other vendors comes, they do the decapsulation over here and inspect the user, and afterwards encapsulate and again decapsulate, inspect this thing, encapsulate, again decapsulate, again encapsulate. They are doing multiple decapsulation and encapsulation, but in a single pass parallel processing architecture, this is, comes very hand in handy to speed up the process. So it can even handle, once the traffic comes in, it will inspect the traffic and send the traffic after encapsulation. And also they are using two separate hardwares, which are called management plane and data plane. So all the traffic is going to be handled by a data plane, and it's having several processors as well. So management plane is a separate plane. It is used to configure and report generation purpose only. So management plane is a separate plane. So if you are doing any reporting task, and that this reporting task, CPU utilization come to 90%, you don't want to worry about it, because these things, something happen in the management plane is not going to affect to the data plane. So still the users can surf the internet, or if they can do their work perfectly, because these two are two different hardware build up to accurate the products, to make the experience better for the users. So yeah, we are having something called Gartner, right? So they are the world recognized vendors. So world a body who recognize all these security vendors, and they they place us in four quadrants, like who is the leader, challengers. Likewise, they're having four quadrants. So these are the four quadrants, and Palo Alto is in the leader for last 11 years. Last 11 years, Palo Alto is being the leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, consecutive 11 years in the leader. So here, leaders, challengers, niche player, and visionaries are four quadrants. Like when it comes to leaders, executes competitively well today, and built position for tomorrow. That's a leader, and they analyze and based on various mechanisms like sales, support, and also the you know what are the visions they're having, how they're developing, and how the hardware is having, and they're analyzing everything and making this report. So Palo Alto is the leader in Garden report. So in challenges, when it comes to this quadrant, so execute competitively well today, and they don't have that much of vision in the next to go to next process. Like niche players, they're having the focused and successful on a small segment, but not the huge market. But visionaries understand where the market is going on, and vision for the changing market rule. They don't have the correct vision for the changing market rules. They are still with the old things. So these are the things which just comes up with the Gartner. So we are the leader. Palo Alto is the leader in the Gartner. So you are if you are doing a Palo Alto product, so you are doing a world recognized number one product. So in this as a single vendor assay, so Palo Alto is the only leader. This report is 2023 report. Palo Alto is the only vendor. So similarly, NSS Lab is also an international body which recognize based on the um, based on the capacity of the capacity and how the firewall works and everything, performance, stability, and everything. They are going to analyze everything and give a report. So they have also recommended that, NSS also recommended that Palo Alto is a recommended vendor for past few years. So this is my question, like, why do you want to learn firewall? So you can purchase a firewall. You can purchase, you can have, world luxurious firewall and which every features. But if that firewall is not implemented correctly, or if the rules are not implemented correctly, uh, still the internal network is not going to be, protected. So that's why, like, you people need to learn firewall. And we need knowledgeable and understandable people to handle these things, handle firewall. So that's all for today from my end, and thank you for participating. So if you have any questions, you can raise. Yeah, Clarence.
Thank you everyone for participating. And
Yeah, go ahead.
if you have any questions, you can get in touch with us. And I only see 6 email addresses. If you can send more, it would be much appreciated. And Clarence, if you have anything to say.
No, I'm good. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We'll be online for another 5 minutes or so. So if you have any questions, just if you don't want to speak up, just put it into the chat, and we'll get back to it. And also, please, the people who haven't shared their email address, please share. And thank you to the people who have.
Yeah, thank you very much to you all, and I hope my session was interactive. And if you feel the same, give a thumbs up. Yeah. Yeah, one question is there.
I think it was a thumbs up.
Yeah, okay. Nice, fine. All right. I think it's good to go. And thank you very much to you. Thank you.